Hello, everyone. I am calling to order the regular meeting of the zoning administrator for the city of San Clemente. My name is Cecilia Gallardo Daly, and I'm the zoning administrator. The first item on the agenda is to receive and file the minutes of the zoning administrator meeting of December 23, 2021, so received and filed. The next item on the agenda is oral and written communication. This is the time on the agenda when any member of the audience may address the zoning administrator on an item that is not on the agenda. Doesn't look like there's anyone here to speak under oral and written communication. So I will move on to the next item. And this is the public hearing section of the agenda. This is a public hearing that includes a staff presentation, a presentation by the applicant not to exceed 10 minutes, and public testimony not to exceed 3 minutes per speaker. Following the closure of the public hearing, the zoning administrator will respond to questions raised during the hearing, discuss the issues, and act upon the matter by motion. We have one public hearing item on the agenda today, and that's a minor exception permit for the property at 221 Via Socorro, and we will have Carla Morales, our staff planner, give us a presentation on this item.
Thank you. Staff will prepare a presentation today. So the item before you today is a request for a minor exception permit to attach to a Ford titled signs front courtyard. So the site location is 221 Via Socorro. It is in our residential low zone. It's also within the special residential overlay 12. It's also in the coastal zone overlay, and it is in the coastal exclusion order area. So the site is right here, circled in that yellow. It is surrounded by residences on the west, north, and east side, and it is across from the middle school on the south side of the property. So some background on this subject lot. It is a 6,300 square foot through lot with access on Via Socorro to the main residence. The residence is a multi-story single-family residence that was built in 2005. And on the right side of the screen here, you can see the existing site conditions. So this request is for a minor exception permit to allow an overheight combination wall and fence that is 6 feet in height. And the bottom 4 feet of this combination wall fence is proposed to be a concrete masonry unit, CMU wall, with an Eldorado stone veneer. The top 2 feet is proposed to be wooden vertical posts that are threaded with wire cables. And this is proposed as part of a larger project to beautify their front yard area, and is intended to create an enclosed semi-private front courtyard area. The project is located within the front yard setback area. So here in the blue area, you'll see this is their front yard setback. And in this property specifically, the front yard setback is 20 feet from the front property line, which is right where the curb is right here. The project is located right along this red line, and it is set back 10 feet from that front property line and 20 feet from the street on Via Socorro, which is right here. Here's a colored elevation, and the applicants also did bring a hard copy for you to look at if you prefer. So on this elevation, you can actually see that they are also proposing some landscaping along that front yard area and right in front of the fence that will mitigate any impacts that the stone portion of this combination wall and fence would have on the street scene. And so here's some more material samples. So this is what the proposed wire railing would look like on that top 2 feet of that fence. This is the Eldorado stone veneer. And this is a sample of the front entry gate that is located on the south and the west side of that gate. It is a frosted tempered glass, so it provides privacy, but it isn't completely solid. So staff's analysis found that we were able to meet the findings necessary to approve the minor exception permit, as well as the findings specific to the walls and fences over height. So although the height limit in this zone for fences and walls is 3 feet 6 inches, the solid portion of this fence is limited to only 4 feet. Additionally, the materials provide transparency, and they maintain an open street scene, and it maintains visibility of the residents from the street. There was CMT support for this project. Specifically, engineering staff had no issues or comments on this project because it did not encroach into the driver's line of sight, and it maintained visibility of the street. And the conditions of approval for this project condition it so that there's still transparency for this fence. Specifically, staff recommends that the bottom 4 feet of the wall is limited to only 4 feet, and at least the top 2 feet will maintain transparency. So with that, staff was able to meet the findings for the minor exception permit as well as the specific findings related to fences and walls over height. Staff recommends that the zoning administrator determine the project is categorically exempt from the requirements of the CEQA pursuant to CEQA guidelines section 5301, class 1 existing facilities, and adopt resolution ZA22-001 approving minor exception permit 21-214 Zions Front Courtyard subject to the attached conditions of approval. And that concludes staff's presentation.
Okay, thank you. And then, Carla, just for clarification, there are 2 gates proposed as part of the improvement, one facing the street and then one perpendicular
Yes,
to
facing
the
that
street.
driveway.
Facing a driveway. Okay, great, thank you. Okay, all right. I don't have any follow-up questions for staff. Would the applicant like to make a presentation or say a few words?
Yes, just like I was mentioning earlier, these clients have had their front yard and been doing all kinds of work architecturally to their home that was built in 2005, enhancing it, making the community look really great from that, especially with the new development going down the street. Like I said, catty corner down the street with the new homes and development. And we wanted to do a presentation that, because it's so off the frontage, an exposed area where kids are going to school across the street, how is that when parents are parking and taking their kids to school, walking back and forth? Setting an example for the rest of the street, for other residences, to address their front yards to where it's community appealing, but also giving, because it's such a focal point in front of the school and so much activity going on, giving the Zines a space to entertain family and friends in their courtyard with a sense of security and privacy. And so that's what we were trying to obtain here with this overall presentation, giving a really great frontage to the community, but also providing some of that wonderful courtyard entertainment space for the front yard. Because as you know, that whole frontage in that community, you get a little slice of the backyard and then just rolls down the slope. Yeah, there's really not much you can do about it.
And it's cold on that side, believe it or not. You spend most of your time on your front yard.
It's really chilly,
cold.
breezy, and cold. And so this would be a really great space for them to have a what I call a pre-function entry courtyard, a receiving court into a home, where it's not just there as a stoic space, but it's actually in a community watch effectiveness. We do want residences to spend time out front, say hello to the neighbors, talk to one another, invite one another over, have functions going off in the front, which really deter a lot of undesirable people going through the neighborhoods thinking that it's all just everybody shut down and not involved in their community. So it's a front yard landscape presentation that really kind of is conducive to community involvement.
Okay, great, thank you. Would anybody else like to say anything?
I think we're good.
I think our biggest thing is just, our backyards are so small and just trying to open up a little bit in the front and keep some semi-privacy. So,
Make our dog happy too.
and like our duck.
Okay, great, thank you. So I have read through the staff report. Thank you for the staff report, Carla. It was very detailed, a lot of information. Looked through the plans. The plans were also very clear and easy to follow, so thank you. I've read through the resolution and conditions of approval and visited the site. The wall is set back far enough that it's not going to interfere with any line of sight or obstruct views of traffic to and from the driveway. I think that the renovation that includes the wall and the new landscaping is really going to enhance the property's appearance and curb appeal, as well as provide some front yard privacy for you across the street from the school, which I think is going to be very important. And the colors and materials utilized will still will be a nice addition, but still meet the findings to provide something that is open to the street. So with that, I can make the findings for the minor exception permit. The requested minor exception will not interfere with the purpose of the zone or the standards of the zone in which the property is located. The zoning ordinance does allow a minor exception permit for walls and fences within the front yard setback to be higher than the minimum and up to 6 feet. The neighboring properties will not be adversely affected as a result of the minor exception permit. As I mentioned, the proposed wall location would not encroach into any line of sight or obstruct views of traffic to and from the driveway. The newly landscaped area in front of the wall will mitigate any visual impacts and help soften the appearance of the wall. The approval of the minor exception permit will not be detrimental to health, safety, and welfare. The height of the fence will not be unsightly or incompatible with the character or uses in the neighborhood. The height of the fence will not have any negative visual impacts upon the street scene or obstruct views of traffic to and from driveways. The proposed wall and its location, as I stated before, would not obstruct views of traffic. Engineering staff did review this and does not have any concerns with the wall location, set back 10 feet from the sidewalk and 20 feet from the curb face. The combination of block wall and cabling and the color and the materials is complementary to the neighborhood character and maintains the open street scene. And then the added landscaping will further mitigate any visual impacts. So with that, I will determine that the project is categorically exempt from the requirements of CEQA pursuant to CEQA Guidelines Section 15301, Class 1, Existing Facilities, and I approve Resolution ZA 22-001, Minor Exception Permit 21-214, Design Front Courtyard, subject to the conditions of approval. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, sure, thank you.
I do have a quick question for you guys. In the front of our house, between the driveway, between the curb and the walkway, there's a AT&T trench that's been broken for a long time, a year and a half, and I can't get them to come out to fix it. And it's a hazard for the kids across the street,
Them.
as well as just you have 4 cones.
All they did was come and put some cones.
I
in.
saw the codes.
Yeah.
That AT&T
Is that what
did that
that's-
almost a
But they
year
came out
ago.
a year and a half ago, and then they came out, marked it, painted it, all the
Uh-huh.
feet's gone.
Oh,
How do we get action on that?
I will have our code enforcement staff follow up with Public Works
Okay.
and see if there's anything Public Works can do,
Can do.
because it is within the city right of way.
Okay.
Even though it is a utility that's working within the right of way, it's still the right of way. So
Yeah, the kids riding their bikes and everything
Mhm.
else is like something's gonna happen. I'm like, this is just crazy.
yeah.
I can follow up with code staff.
Okay.
Have a great
And it is AT&T. It's not. I went through the whole thing. It's not conferencing.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
All right, guys.
All
Thank you
right,
so much for your time
Thank
this
you
afternoon,
so
Carla.
much.
Very nice to finally meet you, and welcome to
The new,
staff.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
We got to meet her when she was in the yard.
Oh, that's
Measuring, taking
Doing our
pictures.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So,
All right.
yeah,
To
we'll just
conclude,
Yes,
Yeah.
we're gonna finish up the
Oh.
agenda, yeah. Okay, so the next item is new business, seeing none. We'll go to the next item, old business, seeing none. I'm gonna adjourn this meeting to the next regular meeting of the zoning administrator to be held at 3 p.m. on Thursday, April 21st at the Community Development Department, first floor, community room, 910 Calle Negocio. That's it.
Thank you.